Alright, still working on this crane, trying to get it to where it won't be sliding around anymore. I had to move it because of the new microphone that I got. I'm not using yet, but I got a microphone for my birthday, and I just have to figure out how to use it now. No, Travis, please don't talk. Write your book. You're not in this conversation. I'm live. Okay? And you are grounded until you write 2 books now. Grounded. Say hello to Travis, everyone. He is here in my room for the next 3 days school suspension. And he thinks he's going to talk on my live. No way, boy. You in trouble. And my refrigerator's going to get all cleaned out tomorrow. We're going to pull out the stove and you get to clean out behind it. All kinds of stuff is going to get all kinds of clean. Twinkle says hello. Let me tell everybody else where I'm at and that I'm finally on. Been a crazy day. Turn down all these alarms and hooey-dooies if I can. Yep. All these notifications. Although my touchscreen is not working so well. There we go. Phone is off. I keep dropping it. So we were going over today what was going to be on the second part of somebody's exam for tomorrow that was taking it online. I haven't gotten a chance to look at what she wrote down for what was on part 1 today. It's been crazy. But I will look at that tonight and we'll get it added to our document of what's been on the exam in the last 45 days and get that sent out. Wanted to make sure everybody knew there was 3 layers of the uterus. And if you don't have that written down on your page, then be sure and get that anatomy written down. It'll be super helpful. I'm going to go get a drink of water. I'll be right back. So I forgot to do that before we started, and I can tell I'm not going to last. Who the heck is that? Who is calling me now? Oh my gosh. This Jennifer?
Dear Verizon Wireless customer, your account had been suspended for verification.
Right. Let's just block you. Don't you love those spammers? These people that just want to spam you. I can tell the Mojave School District called me today, but we're going to get rid of you, Mr. Brian. I don't know who you are, but we're going to hit block. Yep, we're going to block you. There we go. Anybody else get those stupid calls? Oh, gosh. Hey, Annie, how's it going? I was working in the CRC area today to prep some work for people that want to get a second certificate, maybe the risk one. So my first two questions tonight will be diagnosis ones, but they do come from the risk side of stuff. So I just thought it'd be interesting for y'all to see what kind of questions you might run into if you decide to get that second certificate. Hey, Taco, how's it going? Hey, Allie. I feel like I can look up codes fine, but if I have questions from the test or something, I freeze. If I have questions from a test or something. Yeah, I'm a terrible test taker too. Now, I can teach you this stuff all day long, but if I get a blind exam to do, I can have testing anxiety too. And I know this stuff front and back, but and I still make mistakes too from time to time. We're only human, but testing anxiety is a real thing. It for sure is. That's why, not to toot it, but tutoring with me, I'm pretty intimidating, I think. And if I give you a set of questions and you're having to answer them in front of me and you can do that, then you'll be fine for the CPC exam. So I just think that kind of stuff, even if you guys exchange phone numbers with each other and you each make up your own questions for each other, and then you guys call each other or messenger or do your own little Zooms, and you're practically family because we're all in the coding thing together with, medical coding by Jen, but then they're still sort of strangers, but still if you can answer their questions while they're doing questions with you, y'all can do buddy systems too. And that would be really cool because then you'd still have that blind reaction to an exam question that you've never seen before in somebody over you wanting a right answer, and that gives you pressure that you're going to feel during your exam. We could find a way for people that want to do like a practice exam study exchange or something. Maybe you guys can work on something like that. I know I have one person who's been tutoring with me twice a week for a couple of months now, and she wants to, for the month of April, just test with me daily, but we can't do that, that. So she's even willing to just test daily with anybody in our group monthly, any day of the week. Mondays probably through Friday while their kids are gone to school, but just any kind of practice like that is super helpful, It really is. I can't be everywhere all the time, but we do have a really good group. We've got almost 9,000 on TikTok, and then we've got 600 in Discord. So, and another 250 on the Facebook, 1,000 on YouTube. So we've got a group here. So y'all don't have to depend solely on me. We can start some sort of room in Discord where people can say they're interested in being part of a one-on-one with each other. Something. I don't know. Do y'all think that's a good idea? I don't know. Hey, Cass. Hey, Jill. Hey, Annie. I did say that. That's tacos. Valerie. She just started in her CPT book on the online course. Oh, you already have anxiety. Skip the lectures. Go straight to the quiz questions. You'll have like 10 questions per chapter that are just like quizzes. Go do those. And then your end of chapter practice exams, the final exams, those are super important too. Save all those questions. Save all the answers. And during your course, if you go see why the correct answer is the correct answer, and then you go see why the right answer is the right answer for CPT codes, and then you go look up all the codes that were the wrong code, figure out what the differences are between all those codes and exactly why the right answer is the right answer, that's the meat of your course that will absolutely help you pass that exam. The lectures and all that PDF downloads and stuff, and none of that will help you really pass the CPC exam, since it's all exactly like the chapter review questions. That's going to be key. Your exam is going to be just like that. Pam, you can get an ADA from AAPC, get an extra hour on your course, on your exam, either in person or even when you take it online. So they can make accommodations for anything like that. But you're hanging out. Oh, Tasha, don't be full-blown panic. Think happy thoughts. What will be, hun. It's panicking over it isn't going to make anything any better, you know. It's just going to be what will be. It's already written in the stars, and I'm here to help you. And you've been here for months, girl, so you're going to be okay. I've showed you what to expect. You know what the exam questions are going to look like. You have the tools in your head. If you just think about what Jen say, what would Jen say? What would she do? Just, you're going to have me with you. And we're going to do some questions here in just a sec. So Gladys, she said she had a modifier on the exam this past Saturday, and I swear I couldn't find it. In Lab and Path, it could have been 91, but also, where are modifiers? Where's the full list of modifiers? It's in your HIPICS book, correct? So, if you, don't fall over no. If you can't find modifiers during your CPC exam, please do not forget. No matter what version of the HIPICS book you have, let me see. Where's the, do they even have a table of contents, or do they just throw you in this thing? It's got to be right after all this stuff. All their lovely anatomy. Nope. Wonder where they don't have really a table of contents. Okay. Well, all your modifiers are all this blacky gray stuff back here. And let me tell you, they go from A to Z to numbers. There's a blue million of them. So Appendix B in your HIPICS has got every single modifier known to man in it. It starts with A5 all the way, good Lord, who knows what it goes to. Place of services are also in here, even though we have that in the CPT book. But we're going to go all the way to XU. All that mess is all modifiers, everything. And yep, there could be lab. Right there I'm seeing glucose monitoring. There could be waiver forms that need to be filled out, dressing wounds, you name it. There's a million little modifiers for all kinds of stuff. But the full list is always going to be in your HIPICS book, because this book, this book updates 4 times a year, quarterly. So they can add a bunch of crap in here multiple times during the year. So that's where they keep all the modifiers. All right, QW. Yep, QW. All right, so our QW. Right before S. Oh, I got you stuck. I got you stuck on my CPT book. Don't do that. QW is your CLIA waiver for your exam. And if one of my recent lives too, I told you in the CPT book, you know, our front cover right here where we have our cheat sheet for modifiers. I have QW for lab, CLIA, and I have GA for ABN to be signed. Everybody was supposed to write those in, but it was just like, I don't know, a couple of days ago. But yes, all those modifiers are all in here. It's crazy. I know. I don't know why they keep them here. If you have the AAPC version, you get the luxury of having the front hard covers listing out all the modifiers. And this goes to MB, and then you go to the back cover where you've got the rest of all of them in this cover. And then you could have went to the QW. These are easier to find since they're right there, and it said CLIA waiver, instead of having to go into the book and all that gray mess. But we do have that. And my lives are like 3 hours long, and you got to sit there through all that. And I talk too much, and none of it's like organized. It doesn't say, well, this live is for modifiers. This live is for that. I need like somebody to edit all my videos and organize them and post them based off subjects and stuff, but it's a nightmare. I couldn't imagine being on y'all's side of this seat here, of this exchange, and trying to find all my info that I've ever shared. But if you miss one question over one silly modifier, it's not enough to worry about. Don't worry about that. Bells, she said, for reals. Hey, always. I was talking to you on YouTube, and then I hit something wrong on my phone, and I don't know. I was trying to talk to you, but thank you for your comments on my YouTube videos today. That was great. I appreciate all of you watching and commenting, and I do see everything. I just don't comment on everything all the time. Hey, Jaybird.
I got the ball back, like the wind pushed it out from underneath the bush. And also, they aired it up for us, too, because they have, like, 3 pumps.
Oh,
balls.
Your friends? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't forget to get a shower before you sit down and get out your homework and get it done.
I'm drawing in the shower now.
Okay. You can still swap laundry for me. Please. Sorry, a kid just came in from outside playing. The kid that isn't grounded got to go outside and play kickball with the other children, didn't he?
I don't even like to play with
I don't care if you like. No. He still got to go outside and play, while the other one is in here writing Tom Sawyer book from cover to cover, word for word. Not that I should make books punishment, but it's good work for him. Plus, he likes the story. You don't like whitewashing fence painting, and he's getting in all kinds of trouble with his aunt. Yeah. I can have you write out Sabrielle next. That's a good story.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
The Witch with Her Bells. All right, Jillian, I see you. Lots of different angles to learning. There certainly is. Skip the lectures. That's always on the PowerPoint. It always is. Those lectures are just awful. I mean, play them in the background while you're washing dishes or something, and not sitting there thinking it's, I got to absorb every word they're saying. Just play it in the background. ADA. Yes. ADA is for concessions for needing bathroom breaks more frequently in the exam taking room, or if you take your exam online, you're not allowed to leave the computer during your exam unless you have an ADA. So if you email AAPC at the ADA at AAPC.com and you ask for an ADA, they'll allow you to get up and go to the bathroom during your online exam and or also give you an extra hour in total to take the exam. So you'll get 5 hours to take it instead of just 4. You can get bigger font if you're taking the exam in person and you need the font to be bigger than whatever it comes in the exam booklet. They'll order you one in like 18 font or something. So it'll be much bigger. Yeah, much bigger. Listen to me. It'll be bigger font. I'm starting to sound like Travis. Hey, Shell, how's it going? I am. This Sunday will be another workshop. I haven't sent out the email yet. I need to do that. For integumentary, we're going to learn how to do adjacent tissue transfers. We're going to do combinations. What do you code first, second, and third? If you did an excision, a transfer, and a biopsy all at the same time, how do you code that stuff? What exemptions in the guidelines do you have that you need to know? Some of your excisions are in musculoskeletal section, which are tumor removals, but they're still excisions, and there can be guideline issues with those. And I'll probably throw in some lab that is dedicated for integumentary issues to go along. You know, our 307, 309, 304, and 305 that we need to learn in the back of the book for those issues. So in this Sunday will be a nice workshop. Yes, because I needed to take last Sunday off because we had company in town. And it's hard to do them back to back every Sunday, including all the lives during the week. So I get tired with everything else that's going on in life. So it's hard to do them every single Sunday. But yes, we're going to do integumentary this Sunday. And if you haven't signed up, please do so. Go to the website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. Sign up for the workshop. It's just $10. And we'll do 70 questions or so with integumentary, musculoskeletal, but only dealing with excisions, and then the microscopic evaluations of those removals in the labopath area. If you go to my website, just go to booking, that tab. All right. Appendix A. Yeah, it would not have, it might not have the QW in it. I don't know if it did. I don't think so. A lot of those modifiers in HitPix are not in Appendix A. Some books don't, they have different versions of stuff. Yeah, those ambulance modifiers. Just knowing the difference between an ALS ambulance and a BLS ambulance is also on the exam currently right now. So knowing that is a big deal too. You don't need CLIA waivers or ABNs in an emergency situation, so that won't happen on an ambulance or in the ER. Yes, all my lives are recorded, and I do post them on YouTube. I think I'm behind, though. I don't know. Did I do last week's? I got to go check. But yes, I will post this live on YouTube. Sorry if I'm behind. I just had company this weekend, so I was being social and hanging out with Aunt Shy. My kids call her Aunt Shy, but we share the same birthday sign. We're both Aries, so
That's for sure.
we always get together every March, April. And she got to spend the night here, and we got to play video games and hang out with her. So much fun. And she brought me a new microphone, which is cool once I figure out how to use it. See, she got us a new microphone thingy. I don't know how to use it. It's got one of those thingies too. So I'll figure it out eventually. I got my Play-Doh out. But that was awful sweet of her. Let's see. Y'all are answering the questions for me. Thank you, guys. Yay, Shell. So glad to see you Sunday. Yes, I will send out this Sunday's invites tonight as soon as I get off this live. Yep. But the invites go to just the email addresses that I have of people that have logged on and joined my website. So I don't know. CLIA is a regulatory agency that audits labs every 2 years to make sure they're in compliance. But also a CLIA waiver is for Medicare patients who need to do a copay with their lab test. We need to tell them how much we're expecting them to have to pay for getting this lab work, that it is not 100% free, that they're going to have to pay a portion of the fee to get lab work. Bless hearts. So we have to give them a form to sign, which goes on your claim form. And there's a modifier that you need to add to your claim form that says, I have documented a claim waiver form signed by the patient that was given informed consent that they're going to have to sell their right kidney to pay for these lab test results. So that's what all that is. Yes, group workshop is Sunday. It's just like my one-on-one tutoring, but it's in a group setting. It's very much like my one-on-ones. I go through no conversations other than, hello, how are you doing? How's kids? How's life? Got any questions for me? Okay, let's get started. And then we go question to question, back to back on the subject matter of hand. And I tell you how I would attack the question if I was doing it for the CPC exam, what tips and tricks I know, what guidelines I know that are tied to those questions that you should know for your exam so that you can make notes in your books. And plus, hopefully learn those guidelines along with the questions and know what to look for when you take the exam. But my one-on-one tutoring is $49 an hour, but the workshop's $10 and you get 3.5 hours with me. So it's a cheaper option than the one-on-one. It's just in a group setting, but you can text questions like here on TikTok, but you can also unmute your mic and ask live questions during it too. So that's what that's about. And if you ever wanted to know a little bit about what tutoring might be one-on-one, it's very much like those. Yeah. QN is also, probably could be. For it being a quiet Monday, it has certainly got busy here at the end. I know I have quite a few tutorings to do tomorrow. Try to do those on the days when I don't do live. But I got to prep for those. I know I have Miss Edwards tomorrow. She's first thing at 7 in the morning. But the unfortunate thing is because of the time change, it's nearly like 11 a.m. or something in Florida, at 7 a.m. here or something. I don't know. And then I got Sandra right after at 9:30. And then I've got maybe Chanel at noon tomorrow. So I've got back-to-back lives all morning long. So we're going to have a fun day tomorrow. I do have to prep the last two, but that is it. I got to prep for Sunday's musculoskeletal and then Wednesday's live after that when I get through with the tutoring. But it's a busy week, as always. But I wanted to make sure that everybody had the 3 layers of the uterus. And then don't forget about the internal and external OS openings. That is on the exam right now for medical coding. Be sure to know what those are, what the differences are in that for the exam. And I'm just going to put away the book for just a second and get out the practice questions I have for tonight. We're going to start out in the ICD-10 book for just a couple of questions before we go to CPC and CPT questions, but I just wanted to show y'all a couple of codes that might end up being risk adjustments in case anybody wanted to do those. But it's good practice for doing the 5 questions that we're going to have in ICD 10. Sorry, I'm old school. For the CPC exam, you know you're going to have to do a couple of diagnosis codes, and these were good questions because this one is on the mental side. The F codes, usually medical conditions, headaches, those kind of things are pain in the butt to code. I don't like them. So if you saw this question during this CPC or any exam, 9:30 in Florida. Yeah, normally I don't do her till 8:15 because my kids don't leave the house till 8:15. So 8:15 here is 11:15 in Florida. But because I already had 2 other ones to do, I said I'd do her at 7. The kids will be here, good God. But looks like Travis is going to be here all day with me anyway. So I might as well just roll out of bed and get started early. Sorry, I'm using every excuse to yell at him. Don't glare at me. Wear your Tom Sawyer. Finish your Tom Sawyer, please. Get to writing. Yeah.
I have carpal tunnel right now. I literally
You don't have carpal tunnel at the age of 13 years old. Get to writing. You're not even on chapter 2 yet.
I'm on chapter 2.
Excuse me, you're not even on chapter 3 yet.
That does not even count.
It's a 100-page book, and it's big old font.
You think I don't have carpal tunnel from writing this? No. This? And then look at the back. No, this is the first page.
Y'all want to see some 13-year-old boy's handwriting?
It's not that great.
No, it's beautiful. He has the most beautiful handwriting. I should have him do the notes in my CPC exam book or my CPT book. Yeah, he says he's got carpal tunnel. Where did he come up with that word from? You know, he definitely has a mom in the medical field, right? So, yeah. Look at his handwriting. It's so pretty compared to, other kids.
Like my brother.
Yeah, your brother cannot write at all, but that's awfully tiny. I like it better when you write and you fill up the whole line.
That's how I've been writing on all my assignments.
Okay, whatever.
People say I will write like George Washington.
And he has a deficiency in the last 2 digits of both of his hands, so he writes mainly just using those 3. So it's very slight. He didn't even qualify for physical therapy for it, but just saying, your kids can't complain about handwriting. This kid can do some good handwriting. So D I would get rid of because it's got a letter in it, and we know that A doesn't go with ICD-10s like that, right? It might be later on in the ICD-10 thing, but yeah, he writes good, but that's because he started having to write sentences. I will not do this, I will not do that since kindergarten. That child every day from school, that was his thing. You have to write it. Okay, I will not throw my shoes at the teacher.
Oh!
Yeah, that was one of your things. I will I will not steal candy off her desk. Well, don't put a bowl of candy out in front of kindergartners expecting them to keep their hands out of it, is what my response was. But he still had to write sentences. So, yeah, it does.
Whitewashing the new girl.
It does. When you start them young, having to write sentences, it makes a difference in their handwriting, by the way. Yeah. Carpal tunnel. They're still laughing at you, howling that you have carpal tunnel. So I would get rid of that. And then we've got 3, 3, and then the 4. So let's check out our question. We've got a squirrel, comes into the office, crying all the time, and was diagnosed with major depressive disorder recurrent. There's going to be differences between just having major depressive disorder with the recurrent added to it is the main word that they're trying to hide, but that's going to be a difference right there. So if we go to our F codes, ACD. I'm slow. They're the bright red ones, F32. And keep in mind, this is a risk adjustment exam question. So if you wanted to get that certification, this is what one of those questions look like. But I still think it looks a lot like CPC anyway. It's just the reoccurrent thing I don't think you would have on the CPC exam, but you might very well have a depressive code on your exam. The 3-2 is major depressive disorder if you only look at the F32. If you look at the F33, you're also getting major depressive disorder, but your differences are reoccurrent versus single episode. That's why it's better to look with diagnoses at just that first, because if you go down to the 1, you might miss certain nuances that the header tells you over what the final number tells you, if that makes any sense. So the differences in the F33 by itself, you can see in green, it says reoccurrent, and then the F32 says single episode. The F43, if we did actually just go to that, just to look, it says it's a reaction. So we can definitely get rid of C. So the only one that is reoccurrent, of course, is B. Yep, y'all got it. But I just wanted to point out that difference, that you don't have to go down to the individual code, the 0 point whatever, because it's in your header. And then that 32 right there. I like that. And that might help you out during your exam too, even if you're doing just CPC. But that's what a risk adjustment question would look like for their questions. Yep. Thank you for the love. All right. Number 2. What do we think's going on here? I like the I-82s. Let's go see what our header says for I-82 before we look at our question. They're going to have like all these little notations at the very beginning of I-82. It'll tell you whether it includes certain codes or if it excludes certain codes. Travi, will you shut the door? Thank you. You can rest your carpal tunnel for a second. I-82 says other venous embolisms and thrombosis. It also says code first something else, right? We would want to code the embolism or something else maybe that might go on with it in case we were in those areas. We don't know till we look at our question, but it does have that alert on it, so that's neat. I'm going to go down here and see what's going on with our squirrel. Patient has a chronic disorder and is on blood thinners. So our I-82.4 is an acute issue. You don't look at the 09 to find that, but if you look at just the 4, that's acute, which does not mean chronic, right? The 5, if we go to it, it says chronic on it. If I'm not looking at the 09, if I go look at the 9, ooh, we got a C involved. If I go look at the 9, we have the embolism with the thrombosis unspecified. And then what we were coding on the I-82 versus the 4, the 5, and the 9 is that the 0.1 says it's chronic too, right? The 0.91. Because the 9 says unspecified, but the 0.1 says it's also chronic. So it's probably a difference between C and D. Because they're not asking us to do the blood thinner history, of long-term use. So we know it's not going to be a Z code. They're asking us to do the chronic thrombosis. And we don't know where it is. The 09, the 509, says it's a lower extremity. We don't have that info. We have no info on where. Lower extremity, where this one is completely unspecific to where. So our answer would be D. Now, again, this is a hard one. It's for risk adjustment. I just wanted y'all to see it. I really like the first one. This one's very difficult. Don't worry. You won't have one like this for the exam. The only differences you would ever have for the exam would end up being something like where, the thigh, the calf, or the ankle. They would definitely do something like that for the CPC exam. It'll be lighted up in green. You'll be able to see it. This was for risk adjustment. But I just thought it was neat and show you a little different side. And I'm always like showing you something that's super difficult so that when you get down to the CPC exam, you're like, oh, these questions are easy. Because they are, once you've done something a little bit more difficult. So anyway. Well, they have them both together, and out of the options available to us, the options that were given to us all say embolism and thrombosis. Now, would you in real life really code that way if it was just a thrombosis? No. You just have to take the CPC exam questions for what they are and code to the best of your ability off the best answer. Just like you were in grade school again, I would always argue that one of the answers, in addition to the correct one the teacher wanted, could also be true. And that leads to why I became an auditor, I think, is because I was always auditing like that. Well, this answer is true, yes, too, but it's not the best of the two answers, but it's still correct, which drives me insane. Who's to say that's the best answer? They're both true. You asked me which one was true. That one is true, but the other one is better true? What? Anyway, don't get me started. Yeah. 509. What are we doing? 509? Is of the lower extremity. 502. 502. I don't think there is 502 is of the left lower extremity. But 509 is just of an unspecified lower extremity. But we don't have any extremities noted at all. So your answer would be the 91. Yep. Okay. Back to CPC. I found a question. Thank you so much for the roses. I found a question about PFSH. Somebody's been asking me ever since I did that workshop on E&M, where I did all the dividing up of the E&M categories, where we did this little document, and I did a lot more, but we were doing these examples of history exam, and we had expanded problem focused, all those examples during our E&M workshop. And somebody asked during the workshop we did even more here too, but they were asking about PFSH, and I hadn't seen any questions about that in the CPC exam repertoire or studies. Any kind of canned questions had never been about that particular area in E&M, but I found one today. It did come from AAPC, and it is about PFSH. So it's the first one I found, and I'm going to let y'all attack it. And since I've never taught this one yet, I'm just going to give y'all the question and let y'all see if you can't answer it. If I could get my Play-Doh to work. Sorry. There we go. Which one is true, which I like much better than the false questions. I hate trying to figure out which one's false. Aw. Thank you, Charity. You're awesome. Which one's true? Does it contain information regarding the patient's chronic condition? Does it include information regarding a patient's history that may put him or her at risk for certain conditions? Should not be used for supporting documents, for diagnosis codes, or do we just want to phone a friend? So your answer options with this question are either A and B, or C. What is AAPC's favorite thing to do with these multiple choice questions when it is an option? Hint, hint. Sorta. Is to do like all of the above, but in this case, all of the above is not an option, but the next best answer is A and B. So A is true, and so is B. Yep. So your answer for this one would be B, because A and B are both true. Yep. This crane is killing me. And there's just some rationale to go with this one. Includes pertinent information about adjustment coding, such as tobacco use, chronic conditions for the patient, family histories, and risk. Are they a motorcycle driver? What hobbies and things do they do? Does he make rockets in his backyard? Those kind of things all get put into this. But it's the only question I found so far with PFSH in it. All right, an easy anatomy question. Easy peasy. Y'all should know this one. Should take you 1 second. What does MI stand for? And it's not Mission Impossible. I should have put that in as one of the answers. I should do that. Yep, easy peasy one. Yep. There you go. Good job. Another anatomy one. What is the function of the spinal cavity? Does it protect the vertebrae? Thank you, Shells. Thank you, Shelley. You're awesome. Does it protect the vertebrae? Does it enfold and protect the spinal cord? Does it protect the kidneys or protect the pleural? It protects something, huh? Yep. Pretty easy. They're trying to get you to just pick the first one and not read any more. But yeah, B. B is your answer. Very good. Very good. Muscular skeletal. Let's go to the 2000 section of your CPT book, which I still have to work up for our exam for 2022. Here's our codes. Process of elimination gets you where? Which ones are we keeping? I would try just automatically just keeping the right answers, the same answers, I mean. If they're the same, start out. Start out like that. All they want to know is, do I know if I can add the times 6 to this code or not? If I go to the 5-3, it's a child code. The parent code is the 5-2. The parent code is for a single or multiple trigger points. It's for 1 to 2 muscles. The 5-3 is for multiple trigger point injections, but it's for 3 or more muscles, so it doesn't matter how many muscles we're injecting. I see in my parenthetical we have some do nots, and I also see that if we need to add radiology, we would add a 7000 code, but that's not in our options, so not too big of a deal. So I don't see any reason why I would add times 6. Because it doesn't matter how many shots I gave the person, it includes as many muscles as needed. So I would pick D and move on. Now, y'all can look at the question here, and we can look at the bottom, and it says 4 muscle groups. Don't read the top. That's propaganda. And again, you can see that the CPT code descriptor for 20553 is for 3 or more muscles. So we know we're there. Don't get tied up in how many trigger point injections we're doing. That's just propaganda and garbage. We don't need to know that it's bilateral or nothing like that. All that's just there to mess you up. The only thing you need to know about O1, actually, is it the 50? No, it is your 52, 53 is how many muscles. That's all you need to know about those 2 codes, the 52 and the 53. Don't pay attention. Don't look for how many injections were given. Only need to know the muscle groups. And that's right there at the bottom of the question. And you can move on to your next one. Yep. Lab and path. What would y'all do with this one? They are like separated by a lot. All of them. So I probably wouldn't spend a lot of time worrying about which one, but you could probably get rid of C, right? I mean, I don't know. It starts with, it has the 8-6 in it. And just keep all the 8-7s. I don't know. They're just really all over the place. Wouldn't worry about it. You can start at the top, work your way down, skip C. If I go to 8-7-8, they're all on the same page. 87802 is an injection. What's the 87899? Is a strep A, not elsewhere specified. Oof. I like those two because they both start out with the 878, and just knowing those two differences before I went and searched my question is really how I would attack it, just to see what's going on with my question. I wouldn't worry about what's going on there. I'd go on down to the bottom of my thing and see what are they asking me to do. If risk factor appears postpartum, physician obtains a swab of the strep B. Which one is our strep B? Does AAPC bill a not other wise specified code on this exam? No. Right? I've told y'all that. So I would know my answer is A. And you can also match it up, in case you wanted to, with the words immunoassay enzyme right there. But of the two that start out, the 878, once I noticed this one was a non-specific code, I would automatically know it was this one and could move on to my next question. I wouldn't do these two because they're not the same as 878. Now we can go look them up if y'all want to know what the differences are in them. So 87653, but you won't have time to look up every code for the CPC exam. You're going to stress yourself out, get behind, and miss questions where it's going to count that you need to spend more time with, like the cases. 87653. Says it's a strep B, but it's an amplified probe technique, which is not the technique that the doctor ordered. He ordered an immunoassay. So that one is also out. And like I said, a lot of times in Lab and Path, it's not the test that it is that you're doing. It's how the test is performed. Are you directly looking at it with your eyeballs? Are you looking at the test results through a microscope? Is a machine doing the test results for you? This is a perfect example of where everything says strep B, strep B, strep B, but you got to know how they're going to produce the results. And this result is going to be done by an essay. 863. And you're just going to confuse yourself the more you look at all these codes, and they're all going to say strep B, because that's not what you're supposed to be looking for. You're looking for how they're producing the results. That's why Lab and Path is so difficult, and it's very hard to learn all these little differences. That's why I say spend more time in cardiology or integumentary, musculoskeletal. You can bring up those scores a lot easier than bringing up Lab and Path. Lab and Path is a big bear. 86317 is also an immunoassay of an infection agent, but it's quantitative. Do you know your differences between quantitative and qualitative? You got to know your differences between those two. So you got to know qualitative and quantitative. Your guidelines for that is written on page 600, which is very far away from your 670 where you're at right now. To know the differences between that and knowing that the 17 would not be right either, even though it's an immunoassay, but the one word difference, that quantitative is not how you're doing the results when you're getting them back from an enzyme and it's a rapid test. Very difficult one. Very difficult one. But if you stick with the process of elimination, it makes it a lot easier because you're only going to look at just the two that have the 878 and then decide between those two which one's the right answer. If you start looking up all these, you're going to drive yourself insane. 3.5 hours. It's going to start at 2 p.m. Arizona time zone. So if you're in Florida, that's 5 p.m. Try to make it so that no matter what side of the country you're on, it'll be awake time and your brain's still half functional, Usually about 3 hours. I try to end it within 3 hours, but sometimes it goes longer. And I know I'm late tonight. This will be saved and posted on YouTube, so don't worry if you got to go. Hey, MK. So I know a lot of people like to try to get rid of the process of elimination and look them all up, but this is going to make your life easier if you just stick with this. And you would have seen that that was unspecified, and you would not have had to even look up one code, and you would not have had to read the question at all. Looked up the two codes with the process of elimination, saw that one of them's descriptor was unspecified, knew that that was not the answer, picked the one that is not saying nonspecific, and then move on to your next question without reading anything, is how I would recommend doing that question. Sorry. This crane in its new spot is just going to kill my soul. Okay. That's better. Let's do another lab and path. It is windy here today. It's during the day now. So I tried to start them right now at 4:30 Arizona time zone. Today was just crazy. I got a call from the school's principal at 3:50. And then the kid's pharmacy called. I had to go pick up that prescription. It's been sitting there for days, so I had to go run and do that. It was just one thing after another. But normally I try to start my 4:30 and I did do a live today starting at, what time was that? Like 2:45 today. I did a live on YouTube showing what was going to be on the CPC exam for part 2 if you took the exam. So I'm always doing lives, random times, but the ones with the practice exam questions, I try to keep consistent Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It used to be 6:30 p.m. every day, but with the time change, it made it way too difficult to do it at that time zone for the Florida people in New York. So I've been working, trying to get it earlier, but with household schedules, with the kids coming home from school at 4 o'clock, feeding them, getting them to where I can have a moment's peace to go live, is struggling. I do have a 9 to 5 during the day, and I'm tutoring on top of it. It's a little difficult to do them during the day. And in the mornings I'm tutoring, so that's why the repeats are on YouTube, so you can watch those. Y'all are working that question while I'm just rattling off. So I would get rid of D, but because my D has an 88 in its my throwaway, I would know B was the answer. In case y'all wanted to do it without looking at the question, that's exactly what I would do. I would just look at this and, yeah, I am handling a lot always. Yeah. I do work from home as a medical auditor but it's a lot. But if I was doing this question for the process of elimination, I would get rid of D because the 86 makes it very different from this 0, 1, 2. And without looking them up, I knew that this 88 was in 2 answers. There's a reason why. AAPC has a pattern of that for some unknown reason. I have no idea why they do this. But I notice it more often than not that if one of your throwaways actually matches with one that you're keeping, that's your answer without even looking at your question. A lot of people won't do that for their CPC exam, but that is my process, and you'll see it quite often, and all these questions actually work out to be the right answer. So if we go to 8.1 And y'all want to learn a little bit about these codes and what's going on in those CPT codes. Yeah. And all the lives I do, are to help y'all for sure. Really hate that the courses don't prepare you for your exam, and that someone ought to teach you how to prepare for the exam from the exam's point of view. And I don't think it's fair that they don't. Okay, we're under urinalysis. It's page 616 if you're in the 2022. So the small, minute differences are, of course, probably a reagent. So we're talking your dipstick, right? And then we've got an automated with microscope. So they're going to look at it under the microscope. You have to centrifuge the urine down and have all the sediment down at the bottom. And that's what you pipette out. Put on a microscope slide and look underneath the microscope at the sediment in the urine to see if there's a lot of crystals. And you know what the one thing that puts a lot of crystals in your urine, which can damage your crystals, is? It is licorice. So if you're eating a lot of those red vines, I could tell when I spun down the urine and looked at it under a microscope who ate licorice and who didn't, because you'd see snowflakes in the urine if they were a licorice fan. It's really kind of neat, but dangerous. And nobody tells you that. And there's no warning on them that tells you they do that. So it's crazy, but I still eat my red vines. I like them. They keep me awake while I'm driving. So I'll eat them on wrong trips, but I try not to eat them on a permanent basis, because I saw lots of crystals with those. You're welcome, Michelle. I'm happy to help. I just think it's so unfair that y'all are paying thousands of dollars for courses that don't prepare you. And then O2 is unautomated, no microscope, right? Yep. So we'll look at our question. So we're doing just a dipstick. With a culture. That's the second test, so we know there's going to be two tests, of course. What a culture does is it's not a microscope. It's not looking for those crystals that I was telling you about. What a culture does is they put a little piece of it in a petri dish and put it in a warming thing like an incubator, like what they hatch chickens in. And they let it grow for 3 days. Whatever grows on it, also what's on that petri dish in several areas is one type of antibiotic in one area, another type of antibiotic in another area, another antibiotic in another area, and then one more area that will be free of any contributing infections area, so that they can see the total growth of whatever grew. So we'll get the total growth, and then we'll see which type of antibiotic would cure whatever is infected there. That's what a urine culture is. So it's got to grow out for 3 days. But there's no microscope listed here. So we know our answer is going to definitely have no microscope in it. So you can get rid of O1 based off that because it has a microscope. And so does OO. It has a microscope. The last word in the CPC exam or CPT descriptor says with microscopy. So the only one without is your O2, and that's your answer. Of course, like I said, to begin with. Special tubes with the white powder in it. No, actually, the white powder in those tubes, not that I'm aware of. We use that for to prevent clotting in the blood when we are not checking for cholesterol. We want it to clot when we're testing for cholesterol, but when we want to do a CBC, we need ETCH or ETA in it, which is a white powder that will keep it from clotting. We want it free flowing, just the way we got it out of your body. So we had a white powder in there to keep it from clotting. The urine cultures, we just send them in the urine cups that you actually just pee in. Or we might transfer a little bit of it into a pipette tube that we just screwed the lid on, but they didn't have any white powder in them that I knew about. The white powder might come from our gloves. They're always covered in latex and have the white powder all over them. Let me go get Travis. He went to go potty and he's taking too long, so I'm not sure what he's doing.
Anybody else?
Lots of washcloths in there, though. Need some. Well, take an Advil and eat something. You know, if you don't eat, you're gonna get a headache, right? Eat. I'm sorry, I didn't. Huh? Because your blood sugar goes too low, baby. There's a steak in there, a tater in there on a big old plate. Eat the steak, warm it up. You should save some. Yeah, you gotta warm it up. You can warm it up on the stove. You don't want to warm it up in the microwave, whatever. But it's that big old steak that I burned, all the medium well. And there's a potato on top. Huh?
Did you actually burn it?
John thinks I did, but I think I made it perfect. Grandma laughing at me. Where's my sheets out of the dryer? I told you to swap laundry for me. And did you put my blanket in the dryer? You didn't swap laundry? Okay, go do it now. Because I'm gonna need that blanket. Thank you. Lord help. Okay. Yep, I'm still trying to run a house in the middle of all this. Okay. Jamesy didn't swap laundry for me, so I had to yell at him for that. And Travis still in the bathroom. Taking a constitutional, I guess. All right, medicine section. I've done this question before, but it's a pretty cool question because a lot of people don't even know what the abbreviations mean. What does LD mean and RC when you look at this question? Because we definitely have some modifiers that are unusual compared to, we know what LT and RT is for right and left, right? Watch out for Chloe. She's all queen princess up there. But what does the difference mean? I would get rid of A just for it because it's different than all the other ones. Why are you sitting there? Go put the blanket in the dryer for me, please. Thank you. And I'd keep all the LDs and the RCs because they're the similar. They come in the package with the straw. Oh, good gracious. I hope nobody's drinking nothing up with the straw. I ran lab in the 90s and the early 2000s. I have not run a lab or drawn blood on a patient since, let's see, 9/11 happened. So 4 years after that. So since 2010. Yeah, 2010. Yeah, 3 years before I moved to Arizona. Maybe 2 years. So 2011. I haven't run a lab. So lots of things changed between, it's been over a decade since I've been in one. I would not want to Vacutainer or nothing. Hopefully not orally. Hopefully they have machines that will Vacutainer that stuff. But good gracious, what if one fails? That stuff's going to come out squirting everywhere. That just sounds horrifying to deal with. I would not like that. Because you know it's not going to be 100%. I mean, I can't Vacutainer my steaks and hamburger meat up without it getting some all around the edges, or I don't know. That would drive me nuts. I would not like that. No, it does not mean lethal dose. We're talking cardiology. Go look at your CPT code, which is your first one, the 92928. Let's go see what that code is all about. (92928). We got it now. Yep, left distending aorta or right coronary. Yep. All those cardiovascular things during your cabbages and stuff that we need to know about. Are you vascular or are you arterial? Hands off your nose. Have a seat. What chapter are you on, Travi?
I'm almost to chapter 3.
Mommy, I'm gonna go to the grocery store with John. I'll be back.
Well, finish eating something before you go. All right.
This is the first chapter.
I know. I've already seen that one.
And then here's chapter 2.
Cool. You're almost done with the first 2 chapters. Yay. It's pretty. We'll have to bind it up together. So our 2.8 is dealing with a stent and an angio. Those are my key terms that I have underneath it, because if you start in 92920, you're just doing an angio. But 92928, is doing a stent and an angio, which is kind of cool. We need to know whether we're going to add, we need to know our guideline, whether we're going to be able to code this code twice, once for left descending or for your right. That would be good to know whether we're even coding them correctly, or would we switch over to the 9 for a reason, for an additional branch. That guideline would help, right? Twice. 3 times the charm. Yeah, because if we skipped to the add-on code, the add-on is adding to that code. Yep. and even the process of elimination, if you got rid of the A, you're going to get rid of B because it goes along as being different than C and D too. Ooh, it's blustery outside. It's just blowing my house down. Whatever is off the coast of California has definitely hit Arizona with some big old winds. So the rest of the United States is in for it because I think we got some strong wind going on right now. I don't know. We won't ever get none of the rain that goes along with it, not out here, but man. So the other thing we need to know is our answer just 2 codes, or would we actually have 4 codes? Because the only difference between C and D, now that we have it distinguished between those 2 answers, is one of them would be 4 answers long and one of them would be 2. Knowing AAPC and another pattern I noticed with them, I would not tend to want to code 4 codes over 2 codes. I'd always code low unless you're in immunizations. Immunizations code high, but we'll deal with that later. That's usually the only exception to the rule, but you can also check your do nots around here to make sure and see what's going on. It says you can code it with some codes, but 5.2, 5.3 are not listed, right? D has time and age based on it. Y'all have a bunch of wind too. I don't think it was bad windy yesterday, but it is crazy out there right now. Here we go. Here's your question. Start from the bottom. Nine, 152 and 53 are sedation. And 5.2 and 5.3 are for the same MD doing the anesthesia, and they're doing a particular type of procedure at the same time, not a different physician would be doing that. This is an anesthesiologist is doing the anesthesia, not the cardiologist who's doing the procedure. So it's definitely a different physician. So those codes deal with the same physician as doing the procedure. Do y'all see the differences? The 5.1 says moderate sedation services provided by the same physician. Yep. Good job, Jill. It's rough. Sometimes these codes really are just one tiny word in a whole paragraph that makes all the difference in the world. It's crazy. One little word. Why won't they point that out to begin with? If you go to 5.5, 99155. It's the same thing, but services are provided by other than the physician doing the procedure. They didn't give us that option. So of the options that they did give us, the answer is definitely C. This would have qualified maybe, but I bet the coronary procedure might include it. Don't know. Or we go up front to the anesthesia codes up in the very front. Those codes back here are mostly used for a kid comes into the ER and he stuck a eraser up his nose, right? And he's screaming and bawling and the parents can't hold and control him. You've papoosed him and stuff and nothing's working because he's shaking his head like a banshee. And he's just screaming his head off and he's going to injure his larynx with all the screaming. So you might have another physician come in and do some sedation, a little shot of something, or you do it yourself and give the shot and you also pull out the eraser out of his nose. Either way, you would use those codes in the back for more of an emergency room type tag team situation, not, coronary bypasses. Yeah. All right, more medicine. Y'all asked for it. You had that on your practice test. Yep, they're fun to do. I like that question because it's highfalutin. And plus, we don't see very many questions with the RC or DC or whatever. We don't see those modifiers very often. 28 minutes. I was getting tired, Twinkle. I already did an hour or two already today, or a little bit more. So, yep, I can tell. I hit that 3-hour mark and I start getting tired. Yep. All right, let's go to process of elimination. Yes, that's what we're doing. What two are we keeping? Are you eating in my bedroom? Out. Out. You eat cereal with milk in the kitchen, at the kitchen table. You don't bring milk throughout the house. That child, he ain't got the common sense God gave a billy goat. Even they eat outside. Billy goats don't eat on their bed. They don't. You go eat at the kitchen table, Travis. Get. Yep, we're going to keep C and D. We're going to get rid of A and B. Let's go see what 44 and 46 is. I'm not such a good mom. I'm telling him that billy goats have better brains than him. I'm crushing his soul. I'm sure I'm doing it all wrong. Coming in here chewing up some cereal and milk. The house is all tiled. It's just the point of it. I'd be panicking if it was carpet. Don't. 951. It's hard enough to keep all the crumbs in the kitchen. Couldn't imagine all over the house. I know if I can't see the numbers, y'all can't either. 95144, which is on one page, and then our 46 is on the other page, and it's a child code, so you kind of have to go look at the parent code to see what the difference. So you're really not going to look at 4-6. You're really going to look at 4-5. What's the difference between 4-4 and 4-5? One word. Because they're both professional services with supervision and preparation and provisions of antigens and allergens, immunotherapy, what is your differences? Venom, single dose vials, specific number of vials versus the specific number of doses. We've got doses over vials, which are different. There is a parenthetical underneath 44 that says a single dose vial contains a single dose of antigen administered in one injection. Allergens versus, and see, 45 has allergen immunotherapy too, but we've got stinging, venomous stuff versus allergens. Yep. Hey, Mom, how's it going? What you think about this question? We have a food allergy. Would food allergies be underneath the 4-5 or 4-6? Yep. So if you don't have under 4-4 that it is a food allergy underneath the 44 CPT code, that would make a difference during your exam. Just knowing that it matches with one of the CPC exam questions, because they're not saying food allergy here. They're just saying allergen immunotherapy, which is what they're saying also in 45. But 45 has stinging and venom, but this one, 44, doesn't actually really say. What are you huffing about? What chapter are you on?
Still trying to find this chapter 2.
Travis, you dirty dog. You dirty dog. Yeah, you sound like a goat. Well, you act like a goat, you're going to sound like a goat. All right. We're going to do this vaccine one. I don't know if I need to leave it like this or if I need to open up my sizes of where I'm going. But y'all asked for another explanation of our immunization one and how you tell. So for this question, I see the first CPT code is all I'm going to look. And I see that we have a 99391 and a 91. Then the first one, I have a difference between the 8 ones. And that's what I would deal with first if I was doing the CPC exam question. So I'd go to 99391 and 81, see what my differences are, and pick my one word difference from there. Quit moving, you crane is going to drive me insane. Quit slowly moving to the right, left, whichever way it's going. Stop it. Okay. So we're up in the front in E and M, which is going to drive you insane because we're way up at the front. And good luck trying to find these codes because they are very difficult to find if you've not played around in your book very much. They're out of sequence, so hopefully you know where to find them. Yep, we've got a difference between new and established. And I am on page 48 and 49 of the 2022 CPT book. So let's just check our question real quick just to see if we have a new or established. See, we see the word returns, and that lets me know that we are established, which is the 9 numbers, which is higher than the 8 numbers, which drives me nuts. It seems like the 91 would be a new patient, but it's not. It's crazy. So we're going to keep A and D, of course, the hardest ones to keep. So that means we're going to get rid of these. The modifiers are the same. The immunizations are the same. Of those 3, the 80s, the 61s, and the 60s are all the same. The only thing that's different is our timeses, which is tied to the amount of syringes that we're going to use, right? Because all the vaccines are the same, which is the 80, the 23, and the 70. All those are the same, so we don't really care about the immunizations. If we go to the immunizations, 90680. You should shut the door when you come in and it won't close automatically. It has learned to lock itself behind you. 90680. Which is the rotavirus vaccine. How many components does that one have in it? How many viruses does it have in it? You need to know that first. Our order was for rotavirus. It has 1 component in that vaccine. 1. If we look at our Prevnar, which is our 90670, it's our pneumococcal. I call it Prevnar because that's the manufacturer's name. It also has 1 component in it, 1 virus. How many components does the next vaccine have in it? This is called Pediarex. It's something I gave a lot in peds. Hepatitis B is, of course, 1 component. IPV is polio, which is another component. We're already up to having to bill 1, 2, 3, 4 components. If we build A only has accounted for 3 components because the 60 is 1 component. The times 2 means plus 2 more, right? So that equals 3. But we're already up to 4 components here, and we haven't done tetanus yet. Prevnar also has diphtheria in it, which is a component. It has tetanus in it, which is a component. And it also has pertussis in it, which is a component. We have 3 shots indeed, but we have to bill for all the components. The commas in between these vaccines will show how many that we're going to do the 60 by. We have 1 comma here, 2 comma here, and 1 more vaccine afterwards. So that's where our times 3 comes in. But we have to individually bill for every component. Our first times 3 is for how many shots were given. There were 3 shots given, 3 components there. That one is taking care of your rotavirus, your Prevnar, and then the fact that we're given Pediarex.
Don't you wish you could?
And then the times 4 with the one right here is for the 5 more that are left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that does the rest. Or if you just count them all up individually, which is insane, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's insane. Yes, it's awful. It's insane. Anyway, when you go to do vaccines, if you get it down to doing that we knew we had an established patient, the only thing that's left over is the timeses on the syringes. Go high. Go high instead of having to, yeah, it's a lot to grasp. You have to know how many components are in each vaccine. Sorry, I'm trying to erase. So you have to know how many. So I made up a document that tells you. So if you go to each CPT code, so if I go to the shots, the vaccines that are right here, those 3 codes, you go to 90680, write 1C underneath it. Go to 90670 and write 1C under it. They're both on page 725 of the CPT book. Then go to 90723. Which is on page 726, and right underneath that CPT code, write 5 components. It has 5 in it. This one has 5, that one has 1, and that one has 1. Then all you have to do is just add the ones that you've got, and you've got 7. 4 plus 3 equals 7. And that'll save you a lot of time that way. And it's nothing fancy. All I did was write the component listed there. And any other vaccines that we might use. I just put the components down beside them and did the 1 components for Prevnar and rotavirus. I haven't finished the whole chapter yet, but if nothing else, do that and that'll save you. Just write the components underneath. And in our Discord group, I've got a list of all the vaccines with, it's kind of like an Excel sheet with the components listed to the right of it, so that you can just go through all your immunizations and write the component number down underneath the CPT code. Make it easy on yourself instead of trying to figure out all that mess in the middle of the CPT exam. Yeah, just go to Discord. And it's under CPT book prep, I believe. No, CPT code prep, yeah. That room. Let me see if I can get my phone to open up. Yeah, it did. What are you fussing about now, mister? I didn't think so. So it'll be in our room with CPT code resources because it's about the codes. So that's the room it'll be in. Underneath all of Betty's work, she has been just on fire lately, helping prepare and give y'all information on all this stuff. If y'all aren't going in these rooms and utilizing her stuff, man, this is just to say what AAPC says. It says write in your book is what it says. Do tons of writing. It even says write examples. So anyway, but look, I have Appendix L done for you. There's just so much you're missing out if you are not in my Discord group, including our Excel sheet for the components. Look at all this stuff the girl's been doing. There's my component sheet. So we've got the CPT codes listed, and the components are right there listed for you. You just go to the CPT code and write what's in that last column. That's all you got to do. But our little group is just awesome. And Betty and Twinkle and Auntie CC, everybody, Janet, everybody pitches in and helps out. If anybody wants to do practice exam questions for the entire month of April, one-on-one with somebody else, I have another student who wants to exchange numbers and find a way to do this together. What? Yes. That's good. What chapter are you on? You don't know?
I do know. It's just that there's like, I have 10 more pages. I can't.
10 more chapters to do? Yeah.
No, I have 10 more pages so I can get to chapter 3.
Okay. You can write them, baby. You got all day and all day tomorrow, too. Our little Discord group is just lovely. We're not so little anymore. I've got, I don't know. Oh, it's trash can day. That's going off. How many members do I have in here now? I got a lot. 22 of you are online right now, and we have 577 in there. So we've got quite a few. And Betty's learning too. And what her and we talking every day and trying to come up with new things for you guys. Practicing flipping through your CPT book, finding the codes is also helpful. There's just a lot to do before you take your exam, and a lot that they don't prepare you for. And it's a shame. You get down here to the very end and you've not wasted, but you've took all this time to learn a course and you're ready to take your exam, and then it's crunch time, and then there's so much to fill in the blanks with that you didn't know you should have already been doing, that it makes this time more stressful, I think, than it should be to prepare yourself for the exam. Like putting those one-word differences right underneath the CPT codes so that you can grab that one difference of the two codes that you have left over. One of them supra, some of them, the other one is complex, something that is different in those two codes so that you can go look at your question from that point of view. They don't tell you that what the plus symbol means, that you can times it, that you don't add your 51 or 50 modifier. There's so much stuff they don't tell you to do, to mark your use codes, to mark your do not codes. Please stop. Please put your hands down. What the word each means, which is vital to you passing, making sure that you don't include things that already have imaging already in them. I've already got immunizations on the brain. Putting some AKA words beside some of these CPT code descriptors so you actually know what body part or where they're at in the body that can help you. You need to fix your out-of-code sequences that are all over this freaking book. No one told me, and I paid for a lot of information too on that you just need to go write down the page numbers down beside all the codes that are out of sequence, wherever I can find one of those. Marking down your body parts and their functions. What do they do for the body is super helpful for your anatomy part. Just so much that could be done during a course that they don't tell you to do that would be so helpful for the exam. Putting down those page numbers down beside the codes that are out of sequence will save you a ton of time. I couldn't find anything in lab and path when I took mine. I had to guess on all of it, and medicine, because I couldn't find hardly any codes. That will help you a whole bunch. Plus practicing these questions, figuring out why the answer is wrong on some of these questions. So why is the 81 not the answer? What's the difference there between those two codes? And then why the 91 is the right answer? What key word let me know that that was the right answer? Will definitely help you. I even put in my CPT book, like under the consult codes, what word in the exam questions make it a consult? What words in inpatient hospital make it an inpatient? What can be the one-word differences? Observation. What kind of conditions make it an observation visit? Like if they're wheezing, they have increased heart rate, asthma, all those key words are usually in their examples of what an observation patient is. Also, continuing to examine. Those kinds of things make a difference. Really looking at your course questions and answers and why they are right and why they're wrong will definitely help in putting in those one-word differences that will mean what their highfalutin words mean in the CPT book. Subsequent means yesterday, follow-up, other day. Those kinds of things will help you out during the exam more than anything else. Is just taking those words. Return means an established patient. That'll make the difference in at least getting you down to 50-50 shot on that question. What's going on, Red? What'd she do? During the day? Yes, Lily, you can. Absolutely. Just, I have under shop on website, medicalcodingbyjen.com on the website, the 20th. I don't think I have the is that the cardiology date? Is that the date I did cardiology? I need to post that one up there so you can get that one. That's probably the date. I only have the 2 E&Ms up there that I did. Yeah, I need to make another one for cardiology probably. I will do that. Betty's got this crap everywhere, every little room in Discord. You've got to start searching around on Discord. If you haven't played around on this thing, we have our main chat room, which is there, which is that room with the pound sign. Once you're in there, hit the 3 little lines at the top. Sorry, I hit my chat button. The 3 lines at the top will take you to all these practice rooms, and everything that's lighted up is something I haven't seen today. It lights up in a bold red to tell me that there's more stuff, or bold white to tell me that somebody's posted something in one of those. But you can go into that CPT codebook resources room, and she's been just making up all kinds of documents for you guys, answering any kind of questions. If you don't, and I know y'all are asking me a lot of questions in emails and stuff like that, and that's fine, and I will get to you. I'm just one person. Betty's another person, and she works a whole lot faster than I do. Any kind of questions y'all might have too, sometimes during the day when I'm on a Zoom call or with another tutor, she can answer questions too. Y'all can help each other out. Even if it's not her, anybody else can answer questions. You can post them. We're trying to keep them to where if it's about a CPT code, ask in that room. If it's about an ICD-10 code, ask in that room. But there's so many resources. She's just answering questions everywhere. Look at all those. This is for your 7th character, for your diagnosis codes. She's in ICD-10 resources, and she's giving you all the information about that 7th character that it's so handy dandy. For sure. We've got all kinds of rooms, even job resources, CEUs, who all we've helped, anatomy questions, if you want to sell your books, buy books, practice exam question rooms for all sorts of rooms. But yeah, if you're not playing around in here and looking to see what information is in every single room, it's all there and it's all available, and you can scroll backwards and see everything that anybody's ever published too, because it's all in there. What to expect during your exam day, where would you go if you wanted to purchase another exam test, what to bring with you, what you need at home, how to set up your desk, where should your camera be located. All that kind of stuff is all here. Anything you ever wanted to know. And even if you don't know the answer, or you just want to ask, you can just post it and somebody will answer and tag you in the answer so that you'll know. Just tons of information in all these rooms. And encouragement, of course, throughout the day. But that's what I built it for, was so that we could store all of our hard work, all of our resources, all of our pictures, everything into one location where it wouldn't go away, and we'd have it. Midterms. My internet's going to go down, of course, now. But anyway, I am going to get off of here. We do have it at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go say hello to my mom.
She went to bed.
She already went to bed? I missed her. Aw. Okay, well, I'm going to go eat then. How about that? And I got to make my bed because I washed all the blankets today. You can join Discord by downloading the Discord app. Set up an account. It's free and it's untrackable. They don't track like Facebook or all those other social medias, so it's made for like gamers. It's supposed to be a little handheld gamer controller, but I think it looks like Mickey Mouse's britches. But anyway, download the app Discord, set up you an account. Then come to here, since you're here with me, go to TikToky. Oh, my tap screen is half broken. Go to my profile, which you're in right now anyway. Click on that fuzzy-haired lady right there with the kids all up in the background. And then right there, that link tree, just tap that. Mine probably won't tap because my screen is dying. But right here, I've got everything listed, of course. Discord study group is right there. Just click that after you set up your account, and you'll go straight to the server right there, and it'll add you right on in. You can also go to the medicalcodingbyjen.com website. I've got resources tab, drop down menu, and Discord's little britches is there. All you got to do is click on the britches and it'll take you straight to the room, of course. So lots of places for sure. You'll know instantly when I'm going. That's where I announce it. So if we were in Discord right now, you would be in our main chat room, which is just the name with the hashtag. That's the main room. And you'll notice that my last thing I said at 6 o'clock 2 hours ago was, let's go live on TikTok. I always announce it there so that y'all know when I'm going live too, in case I'm late. I'm just trying to do all this in the middle of a, tornado around my life. And it brings me lots of joy to help you guys out and make sure that y'all are way better prepared for the CPC exam and know what to expect than you would be if you just took a course. But I really prefer you not take any courses and just do it on your own. dollars, and just you can learn what you need to learn from me and Betty and everybody else. I'm going to have to start putting people on payroll or something. But we're all trying to help out as best we can. And I hope this has been helpful. And we will do another live with practice exam questions on Wednesday. Trying for 5 o'clock p.m. Arizona time zone, which will be 8 o'clock Florida time, New York time. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying my best to back it up as far as I can. It's just crazy at my house at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So, yeah, I'm trying. You all are so welcome. This immunization's a tough one, but I've made it easy. I got that Excel sheet in our Discord. All you got to do is go to each CPT code, write down the components. So if you had that components down, it would just be 1, 5, and 1. And you would add those numbers together. You get 7, and then you would know which answer would equal 7, right? It won't be bad. Just go get that sheet and write down the components next to the CPT codes, and then you'll have it. It's only one question if your CPC, not every version of the CPC exam has an immunization question. If you do get it, it's just one. It's not that big of a deal. You can tell the difference between your established and new patient. And then I've already told you on your syringes, if it's a difference between a low number and a high number, go high on just the immunization ones. But I can at least get you down to a 50-50 without thinking too much. But it'll help. We got you some backup on that question. It's only 1 out of 100. It's okay. You don't have to be an expert at immunizations. It's not worth spending a lot of time on. What is worth spending time on is updating your anatomy. This digestion system one has 3 questions on it for the CPC exam. So some other sections are way better worth spending your time, and all those copies of the but we also have a lot of copies of stuff in the Discord chat groups. So go hunt for all these little aids that we have around. And I got to go prep for my 3 tutoring sessions tomorrow. So going to be a busy day. But I am around if y'all need me. I'll be in the Discord room, of course, all night and tomorrow. And I am still working on the cardiology section, of course. Trying to finish that section up so that I can prep for our workshop this Sunday for integumentary. Last night was a pain. What did I do last night? Oh yeah, I did all the differences between all of these freaking bypass graphs. Oof. Some of them are just the one-word differences, but man, they're crazy. There's so many of them. Some are subvent, some are subaxillary, or axillary. Oh my gosh. I did all those last night for the pie graphs. Where am I at tonight? If I go live, I will be, for cardiology, I'm on page 300 tonight. And I still got 40 pages to go to finish cardiology. Is it 40 or 30? Yeah, no, it's 40 pages to go. I'm on page 300. I got to finish these notes because I got all that done, but I got to finish these notes. 40 more pages and then I'll have cardiology posted for everybody. Anyway, that's my life. The earlier live is already posted. This one, it shouldn't take TikTok 30 minutes to render this one. Then I got to download it and upload it. And y'all just have to harass me so that I do it. my ADHD gets started, and then I start doing this book or doing prepping for tomorrow's live. I just do this, go do this. It's just a lot to remember to do and to get it all done and find a moment to get it done. But I will do my best to get that posted in the next 30 minutes while I'm prepping for my tutors tomorrow and working on this cardiology thing. Yeah, fix your immunization sheets. Yep. And then I'll post this, and then y'all can come back and watch this on YouTube. Absolutely, you can have it on your exam. If you go to the room where I've got what to expect on day, but also go to CPT code resources, either room, of course, you can always go to the AAPC website. I am a guest educator for AAPC. I have taught for them before, but it can go, and if you're in a course, it says it everywhere in the course. Go add these notes, go add these notes. But I'm on the AAPC website now. I have it posted in all the group rooms, but you can absolutely move the guidelines to the codes. You can draw tables for yourself. You can mark sequencing codes. You can write definitions in. You can do main terms. You can add to the illustrations. You can do coding examples in the book. You can do all that stuff. I would never tell you to put something in your book that would ever get you kicked out of as an exam. Everything that I have in my books is what I took my exam with, and what thousands of people have done and taken their exams in person live with their books, and no one said a thing. You can absolutely have this and more in there. You cannot create more writing space by adding in new paper. You cannot white out all the words they have written in an area that you think is garbage, like even these advertisements where they're just selling you something. You can't white that out and use it as your own note page. That's all their guidelines talk about. But you can absolutely write in the white spaces all you want. And they encourage you to add all that information, including more. Absolutely. That's just a wives' tale that gets spread around for misinformation about what you can and cannot write in your books. You paid $400 for those books, and it's an open book exam. Don't waste your money taking it over and over again. Please fill it in so that it is your open book. Full of your notes that you would have it. Anybody that would be coding from this book would have it full of exam notes or example notes of examples. No one codes out of a CPT book anymore. It's all done by a computer program now. This is really an archaic way of doing coding, and it's not legitimate for learning how to do it for on the job, but we won't go there because I'll just get started again. So, absolutely writing your book. You paid the money for it. You've got a lot of free white space. Fill it up, but keep it organized so that you can find the information when you need it. And I go into great detail of how to do that. There's a lot of details and page by page of how to do it on my website at medicalcodingbyjen.com. You got every picture of everything that I've ever done, and then you just click on the picture. It tells you what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, why it's important. Of course, you can get the notes. Those are on Etsy, but I prefer to teach you how to do it all by yourself free and show you everything, including what to expect on the exam, and teach you all the guidelines and all that stuff for free here on TikTok during our lives. And then I even do page-by-page book prep on YouTube lives in the middle of the night around midnight. Me and Twinkle get on, and we're on, and I'm going code by code, putting the notes in and doing those free too. So, but if time is of an essence and you need page by page right now for every chapter, you can go to Etsy, but I'm here to help you guys as much as I can for free. in my spare time. Yes, Twinkle, thank you. Speaking of my little time angel, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate your time and help. And I will be back on to finish cardiology. I'm going to start on page 300 as soon as I go eat. Switch the laundry again and see how far along Mr. Travis is in his book. All right, guys. Yes, Lily, no worries. It just broke my heart during COVID to see so many people on the AAPC Facebook page just suffering over and over again, failing this test. And I had one of their courses and I thought, if I had to learn what I needed to learn to take that exam from that course, I would be so upset. That's pretty cruel. I think it's kind of cruel. It's just not enough. It doesn't prepare you for the exam. It just doesn't. And they know that. They know I'm not happy with them, and they still let me teach for them. So that's cool. That's okay. I'd love to go in and redo all their courses. I just would love that. Let me have it and get into your course building system and let me design something. I'd pump something out there that would be a lot more efficient for people, for sure. To prep them just for the exam. You've got a lifetime to learn to code once you get on the job, and you will, because coding is different at every job location, because you will code based off contracts, not off the guidelines. Technically, it's going to be more like you're going to bill your Blue Cross patients who work for Coca-Cola this way because of their group ID. Then you're going to bill another set of Blue Cross patients a different way because they're capitated. It's going to be different, and that's okay. It's all right. You'll learn on the job, and it's easy. They'll have it all pre-done for you and show you the ropes. You can learn it. It's just those courses do not prepare you for the CPC exam, and I don't like seeing people suffer. So I made a TikTok about it, and it kind of blew up. But anyway, this dang crane, I got to get it fixed. You're suffering, Bells. Please don't suffer. Skip the lectures. Just skip it. Go straight to the questions, the quizzes, and the chapter reviews. The chapter reviews were the ones that you have to make a 70 on or you fail. The answers are on Quizlets. Just copy the first line of every question and do it. Google search. You'll find the answer. If you fail the quiz, the chapter quiz at the end, the first time, bring it up as a PDF, then open up the exam for your second try. It's going to be out of order, but you can still Control F and find the original question in the first exam, and you can do a split screen where the exam you just took and failed is on one side, and then your new exam is on the other side, and you'll find 70% of the questions with the answers right there. And then you can Google the 30% of extra questions in case they gave you a couple extra new ones. But there's no reason to suffer through that course at all. No reason. Travis is being Quizlet. Yeah, well, yeah, let's see. Like this question right here. I'll show you real quick. I know I got to go after this. But look, if this question was on my chapter review for whatever chapter I'm on, I'm just going to Google that first sentence. Ugh. Hold on. I'm going to go to Google. Google is your friend. There we go. I'm going to go right here, and I'm just going to paste that right there in that freaking thing, and I'm going to hit search. There's a practice question. They got the answer right there on the AAPC website, but you can also type in the word Quizlet. Ooh. And you'll find the question right there, and see they're saying that's from exam B. And you'll probably find a whole lot more answers right there. Once you get here, just do another Control F to do a search. And you can go DTA. Whoops, DT. I know they were doing, what did they do? Vaccine? I don't know what word they used. And then you do, and then you go down to your word, to your vaccine. Where are we at? Where's my exam question for today? Because I don't want to post the whole thing again. Is that today's
I'm
live?
done for the night.
You're done for the night? What are you going to do?
Whatever you're going to do.
Whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to eat. It's a well check. It doesn't even say vaccine in it, does it? I'm trying to look for something that isn't even in there. Well, child, let's just say that.
I do need to put some laundry in the washer.
You ain't doing no laundry. You ain't got to go to school, Mr. Suspended Boy.
Yeah, but
So you're not doing any. You're not doing any. So anyway. And there's the answer. With the ×4 and the ×3. They'll have the whole exam here listed. Every single question, every single answer. And that's on AAPC. That's on Quizlets. Quizlet is a great resource. It's not 100% correct. You'll find some people do typos because they have to hand type these out. But Quizlet, you can find the answers to your chapter quizzes pretty quickly on this by just doing a Google search of one line from your exam question. And that's fine and dandy. You just want to pass the course. But my point is, the important thing is, if your answer is the 14, why is the 13s wrong? That will help you more than anything else. What keywords are in this 14 that are different than what is found in the 13, so that you know what to look for the next time you handle a question between the differences between the 13 and the 14. So on this question, and that kind of learning you can learn on your own. How many comorbidities do we have? Or what is our time? Or what is our MDM? So our MDM is moderate, so we know that that's tied to our 14, because if you go here to our handy dandy little chart, we've got our moderate is 14. Just knowing the differences between some of these things, that's our 13. What keywords you find is more helpful than a lot of that lecturing and stuff that's in that course. Just really dissecting why the answers are the right ones and which ones would be wrong in all these questions will definitely help you for the CPC exam, because as you can tell from my notes here, what the exams is going to be, it's just CPTs, and you have to figure out what the answer is quickly and efficiently. And no matter a lecture is going to help you, but dissecting these codes and knowing why the answer would be one thing versus another, like new or established, will help you out more than anything. You're welcome, Bells. All right, Twinkle. I'm going. I got to get started on this cardiology, and I'm just wasting time, ain't I? All right. Yes, you can write all you want in your book and skip the lectures in the course. Go straight to the questions. You can Google all the answers, at least pass the course, save all the questions for every chapter, whether it's a quiz or a chapter review, and practice those over and over and over again. Really dissect those questions. Those questions will be your exam, and that will help you pass more than anything. Best advice right there. Okay, guys, I'm going. I will see y'all back in a little while.